to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, everybody. I am Michael.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Lincoln toy. And I'm John.
Why do you have to do that all the time, John?
I'm
Andrew.
He's doing it because I haven't done anything funny in a while to start off the show. So he's
You throw me off, John. You're like Joey from the Dorksmen, who nobody can follow that. That's the way it works. All right. So I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast, where the three of us look back at toys from our childhood, or this week, a little before our childhood, and kind of give you a history lesson that something we've learned, something we want to teach you guys, and how these toys might have made their way into your household. So this week we're rewinding, like I said, a little bit further than our childhoods, especially mine and John's, just a couple years from Michael. Back to the mid-70s.
Even older than I am, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going back to the mid-70s, and we're talking about the Lincoln Monsters, also referred to as the Lincoln International Monsters. There's a couple different ways that they're referred to, but obviously released by Lincoln International. So we're this is just more monster talk for us coming through the month of October here. So yeah, I like monsters. You know what? We should do a monster episode next week also. We'll do that. So look forward. We got more monsters. You'd think that at some point we'd run out of monster toys, but we just went through a whole list of a whole bunch of them. So yeah, everybody hold on to what we're going to do here. Lots of monsters. All right, John.
So we should have next October taken care of too.
Yeah. I mean, we've probably got October taken care of for a few years here.
All right.
So, all right, John, where can people find us?
All right, our social networks, or where you can find us. Check out our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. You can also look us up on crossthestreamsmedia.com. Email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. We stream our Toy Box showcases to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I can hear my echo somewhere. So
yeah, you get an echo every once in a while, but
it threw me off. I was like, wait a minute. Sorry.
Somebody's gonna hear that. They're gonna be like, what's going on?
Yeah, podcast bingo. You can always play along as you're listening to us and try to get a bingo. Let us know about that. It's at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And then, as always, check out our collector showcases with our Geek Together friends over on Twitch when we do those, and hopefully get one coming up shortly or here in the next little while. So,
yep, trying to get those scheduled out. Lots of fun. We are talking about Geek Together. You guys. NYCC just got over, right? So talking to Damien today, he was giving me some info about Dahlia, the Christina's creation. I guess I don't know how much Damien has to do with creating that. I think that's all her creation, and then he just has to do what she tells him to do at this point.
he's the moral support,
right? She had some at one of the booths there, and they all sold out. So. Props to her on getting that sold out. I mean, there's only like 20, I think it was 20, 25, something like that. It was a small run, but still, I think it's pretty awesome for some of our friends to get stuff like that. I mean, she was on one of our showcases, and we got to check out how Dahlia came to be and everything. So I think that's pretty awesome for them to do that all the way over at New York Comic-Con, which, I mean, I would roughly say probably the second largest Comic-Con in America. I would bet to say SDCC is a little bigger, but yeah, so good stuff there. So be sure you follow Geek Together and listen to them, because they'll probably be talking about New York Comic Con over the next few weeks because, I mean, Damien just got back from it. There'll be a lot of good stuff there. So, all right. We are going to jump right into our toy line, talk about these monsters, and we'll come back for some chit chat after that. So, are you ready, Professor?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's jump into it.
Okay, so like Andrew said, we're going to talk about the Lincoln International Monster line. A little bit of information about a background on Lincoln International. It was a New Zealand-based company, toy company that had a lot of hits with like TV licensings and stuff, and throughout the '60s. So they had quite a bit of Batman toys. Stingray was another big one. If you don't know anything about Stingray, it's a Gary Anderson show. He's the guy that came up with Thunderbirds and Fireball XL5, the marionette type puppetry shows from the UK. He's the head guy behind all those kind of shows from the '60s. I think Thunderbirds is probably the more popular one that everybody really knows. But that's a pretty cool little show that they have with those puppets. But Lincoln International had a pretty good run with those licensings throughout the '60s. Like John said, their slogan was "Boy oh boy, it's a Lincoln toy." So the 1970s they actually saw a lower quality of toys, and then no interest in purchasing licensing. So that through the '70s, they really didn't have any licensings or anything so the lower quality toys kind of looked like knockoff toys. I know we talked about one of these in our knockoff episode. Once I was looking at it, we talked about Mr. Rock.
Yeah.
Which
I knew that we talked about him.
Yeah, that imitates Mr. Spock from Star Trek. So we said it was a knockoff, but it was actually it's a real toy. That wasn't. I mean, they pretty much knocked off Mego's version of Spock. So is what that is. But anyway, so the Lincoln also a couple other things that they had copies of. Lincoln had another line through the '70s. They had Big Jim. And my notes, sorry about my notes said big, but it's Big Jim. It's actually he's a copy of Action Jackson, and then they had Thrill Seekers as well. That was a copy of the Evel Knievel toy line from another company. So they actually started through the '70s. They actually copied off other companies. So I guess you can kind of say they were knockoffs, but it's a high name company that made them. So
they were just enough off of the copies to keep it from being a lawsuit or something.
Yeah. They were just a slight differences enough to, yeah. So, but the biggest and most popular series they had in the '70s was the Monster series. It was produced and it was first released in 1975. The monsters were meant to be a mimic of both of the Mego monsters and then the Azrak Hamway or AHI monsters. Even the box art looks like a kid's drawing of the Mego artwork. So if you look at the Mego box and then you look at the Lincoln International's box, the figure on the box is exactly the same, except the Mego looks like it's professionally done, and the Lincoln International box looks like a kid drawing of the Mego box. So the kid's copy of it. So yeah, so like the Frankenstein, it's got him there and it's got his hand out. Well, if you look at the Lincoln International box, it looks like some kid drew Frankenstein with his hand out. So yeah, so that's what they were just off just enough, but it looked almost the same. Also, the outfits that were on the Lincoln International line, also they resembled the AHI outfits. So they kind of copied both of those series to come up with theirs. So Like I said, they came out in 1975 was first release. These were all 8-inch tall figures, and they were about the same size as the Mego figures. They were distributed in the UK, Europe, and North America. Something I found interesting, the distributor of this line in the US was Galoob.
I saw that too. I was
neat.
like, oh, look, we got more Galoob stuff.
Yeah, so but it wasn't Galoob. They were just a distributor of it.
Yeah.
It was kind of before they became Galoob, the big, Micro Machine Galoob. So these can be found either in a box or on a blister card. I think the boxes were pretty much exclusive to the UK. I think some of them were found here in the US, but most of them were UK over there. There were 7 figures were officially released. They had the Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Mummy, Count Dracula, Frankenstein, and then there was a girl victim, which was an exclusive to the Spiegel 5-pack that they had. We'll talk about that here in a bit. So if we go down the list of them, you got Wolfman.
Hold on, Michael. Hold on. Before we get too far, I want to talk about the boxes just for a minute.
Okay, go back to the box.
And if you're watching us on YouTube or wherever you can watch us, I just pulled up this image. This is ridiculous.
See how it looks like some kid drew.
If you're listening, the icon that we use for this episode is the hand drawn or the kid drawn versions of the boxes. I think there's all 6 of them on there. I didn't even realize when I did that this was going on, that they were like this. These are like really professional ones, and these are the Mego ones, right? And then the other ones, that Frankenstein.
I mean, the Frankenstein looks almost identical. The colors and everything, it's just.
Well, it looks like the scar. The scar goes the opposite side of the face.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah, it goes goes from left to right, whereas the Mego version goes from right to left. Yeah.
Maybe they were looking at a mirror.
Right.
The scar on the Lincoln International one. I mean, it looks like he was like, "Oh, here's some lipstick." Right down the face. These are ridiculous, and it's amazing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't even have thought the kid version, and because I think the artwork is great.
Yeah,
for the Lincoln International, I think the artwork is. It's a different style.
Yeah, I think it's more fun. You know, it seems for the kids and stuff. Whereas,
but then if you don't know that they're kind of mimicking what's going on over Mego, then you don't realize it. Like, because I didn't think about it earlier when I was making that icon. So I think it's awesome. I actually like I like the style of the Mego ones, but I like the Lincoln International ones better.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about. I wanted to talk about how I like that one better.
Yeah, the box, those are interesting on that. The way they look so much alike, but they're different. So okay, so we're gonna break it down into each individual figure. Like I said, there's only 7 figures in this line. They were released or not released, but they had different production runs, and there were a little bit differences between each production run, such as the color of the color, like the head sculpt and stuff like that. They kind of changed, like the Wolfman, the shade of the colors on his hair and is darker on the first run. By the time you get to the end of the run, it's lighter, and he's got freckles on his face compared to the first run. And it's there are several different variations. I'll mention some of those here. Excuse me. So, like Wolfman, he is actually kind of a different kind of Wolfman because he's got a happy face. We were talking about what he looked like. He looks like John said, he looks like Shaggy in one of the cartoons from Scooby-Doo when Shaggy turns into Wolfman. He's all happy and he's got the same kind of shaped face as Shaggy does. So it's kind
That's
of
one of the Ghoul
funny.
School episodes.
Yeah,
He also so he looks like Shaggy and Count Chocula.
yeah.
had a
If you look
baby.
at Count Chocula on the cereal box, it kind of resembles. The coloration is about the same. So, a couple of variations on him. He comes with his belt. He either comes with a a white belt or a gold belt.
So I did read up on that one, and it's kind of the same as the boxes. You said it earlier. The boxes were from the UK.
Yeah.
And then you're fixing to get into this. So the yellow belt, I believe, is the American version.
Yeah, I think the yellow belt came in the carded versions, the blister pack versions, and then the white belt. And you can tell the thickness between the belts. The yellow belt is like more of a stringy, whereas the white belt is more thicker rope type looking stuff.
I would assume that the white belt failed at one of his karate tests and got demoted.
Yeah, and then I'm sure you're gonna bring it up too, but the difference in their the way they're hemmed with their jackets and stuff, is also one that I read was between the UK and the United States.
Yeah, I think the more the US stuff was later in the production run. So that's why there's some variations between the UK US and the UK versions. But when you get to the later run, you could tell that you have a later run piece because some of the hems or the sleeves and then the pants, the hems on the pants are more raggedy. They're not as tailored as the first runs were. And so you can see that throughout this line, throughout all the figures. So Phantom of the Opera, next one, it was sometimes can be found with the same outfit as Dracula. I don't know why they decided to put him in Dracula's outfit, but they did on some of them, and some of them didn't. The head sculpt is very close to, kind of looks more like the Lon Chaney's portrayal of the Phantom of the Opera. They didn't have the license, the Universal Monster licensing, so they couldn't make it look like Lon Chaney or Bela Lugosi and all that, like we talked about last week. So they, this figure for some reason looks a lot closer to Lon Chaney's character than others look like the characters played him.
He looks like he was holding his breath. Somebody poured a bottle or a bucket of boiling water on his face, and then he screamed, and his face then froze.
Yeah,
he's got that.
So he's purple, but on the box he's blue.
Yeah,
but he's very purple.
Yeah, he's more purple. Yeah, the figure itself is more of a purple looking color shade.
And I know the Phantom of the Opera is supposed to be scarred, but